So this is Robert Scheinfeld's The Ultimate Key to Happiness. How to be truly happy all the time, no matter what's going on around you. Da-da-da. Introduction. So, you want to be happy, truly happy, all the time, no matter what's going on around you. Cool. That's what I always wanted to. Discovering how to get there, it was an obsession for me until I finally had the breakthrough I'm sharing with you here. There are several big problems that must be solved before you can get there too. We'll be discussing the big problems in detail in chapters that follow, including how to solve them. But there's a quick summary to get the ball rolling. First, what is happiness? Everyone wants to be happy or happier, but few people can precisely define what happiness really is. How can you hit a target if you don't know what or where it is? Second, how important is happiness? Everyone knows they want to be happy, but few people realize just how important happiness is to them and how their quest for happiness shapes everything that they do on a daily basis. Third, how do I get there? Even if you have an idea what happiness really is, there's a few accessible paths that actually lead to where you are now into the true happiness experience, despite tons of hype and false claims. Fourth, how do I avoid traps and quicksand pits along the way? Even if you know that true happiness really is, rare as that is, and even if you are shown a path that can actually take you there, rare as that is, the path has traps and quicksand pits that can prevent you from reaching your desired destination. You must know that these obstacles are how to avoid them and how to get unstuck if you succumb. Fifth, why don't the typical techniques work? There are zillions of books, audios, videos, courses, events, and workshops offering techniques, strategies, and prescriptions of how to be happy. If you were brutally honest with ourselves, if we are brutally honest with ourselves, we see that virtually all of them end up being dead ends. You'll continue failing to produce the desired result and driving down the end after dead end until you discover why the techniques fail and how to turn around and take a new road that really can take you where you want to go. 6. Why don't the typical therapies work? The world is filled with therapists, therapeutic models, healing models, and therapists who claim to have the ability to help you to be happy or happier. Once again, if you're brutally honest, we see that virtually all of them fail to deliver the desired result of true happiness. Until you know why they'll fail, a door will never open to change things. Key point. I'm not being critical or judgmental of the products, services, authors, speakers, experts, or therapists I just referred to. I'm simply speaking the truth about what you see if you look closely at what happens when most people follow those paths. You should know now that prior to making the discoveries shared in this book, I was one of the world's foremost experts of being unhappy, and one of the world's foremost experts on being angry and frustrated and depressed and feeling hurt and feeling like a victim. I tried everything from the most popular to the most esoteric woo-woo solutions in my attempt to feel better. I took a few baby steps from time to time, which meant there were blips of time when I could say I felt better, or when something that was making me uncomfortable changed slightly, or transformed slightly, or disappeared temporarily. But ultimately, happiness remained elusive. When I was 46, I had an extraordinary breakthrough. That breakthrough enabled me to see the truth of things with expanding clarity. I began to see what happiness really was, what I really what it really wasn't, why it remained so elusive, despite all the things I did and tried, and how to constantly enjoy what I now call true happiness. An extraordinary 34-year journey led to that breakthrough. The story of that journey and breakthrough is shared in my last two books, the New York Times bestsellers Busting Loose from the Money Game and Busting Loose from the Business Game. Don't let the titles of those books fool you if you are unfamiliar with them. While they are about money and business from one point of view, they're really about truth, consciousness, spirituality, and solving life's greatest mysteries from a more expanded perspective. Money and business are simply gateways I use to invite people into a discussion of a radically different perspective. If you are a seeker of truth, you will find the two Busting Loose books to be fascinating, eye-opening, and supportive. However, this book stands on its own. Nothing in my previous book is required to receive maximum benefit from this book. Beyond what I just shared, I'm not going to chat much about my biography, my credentials, or why I might want to pay attention to what I share here. Truth be told, who I am and what I've done doesn't mean much as it relates to being truly happy. Key point: the only thing that matters is what you actually experience during and after reading this book. I am going to show you how to prove the truthfulness of everything I share here, everything, no matter how crazy, far out, counterintuitive, unfamiliar, strange, or wrong it might seem to you initially. Your proof of the truthfulness and the accuracy of what I'm sharing will come from you looking at, examining, and clearly seeing what's happening in your own personal experience. If you're like I was, like the vast majority of people I've shared this insight with, you'll be shocked by what you see when you look closely at your own experience as it relates to emotions in general and happiness in specific. If you are like I was, like the vast majority of people I've shared this insight with, you'll be shocked by the fact that what I point out has been hidden in plain sight all along. Next, this book is not about ideas, concept theories, or philosophy, because everything I share here is based on what you can see in your own personal experience. It's vital that you actually look at what I ask you to look at, see what I'm pointing to, and ultimately see it. What do I mean by see it? I mean seeing from the perspective of truth, which goes way beyond simply seeing with the eyes of or understanding something. More on this later. If you simply read the words in this book, look at that content at the theoretical idea and concept level only, and you accept or reject it there, you'll miss out the opportunity of a lifetime. From one perspective, this book is written in a linear, sequential way. Each chapter is built on the next. Each chapter provides specific puzzle pieces in a specific order and invites you to assemble them in a specific big picture. I can't control what you do, but in the strongest of voices I can put to paper, I urge you to read this book start to finish in sequential order, slowly and carefully, and not to skip around, skim, or speed read it. True happiness is too important to be sacrificed to impatience, being busy, or all habitual patterns of reading books. From another perspective, this book is written in a non-linear way. By that, I mean the opportunity here is to exchange lies, illusions, and stories for truth. The lies, illusions, and stories are hypnotic in nature and are very convincing. They also have a lot of force or inertia behind them. I must support you in being dehypnotized and overcoming the inertial forces, like a rocket must overcome gravity to soar into space. I must support you in seeing what the true happiness really is. I must support you in taking a quantum leap from where you are now to a new place. To provide that kind of support, I've got to blow your mind, literally fry your circuits and dynamite lies, illusions, and stories you've thought to be true most or all your life. Therefore, as you read the pages that follow, especially the first 5 chapters, you might feel like you've entered the Twilight Zone or a science fiction movie. There's a popular saying, thinking outside the box, which refers to thinking in creative and innovative ways. I'm fond of calling what you're about to discover dynamiting the box. Why? Because it's a different form what's typically taught about emotions and happiness, even the most creative and innovative of teachings. As you read, you may feel at times overwhelmed, disoriented, skeptical, or uncomfortable. You may be aware of thoughts that actually resist, disagree with, or reject what I'm saying. You might even find yourself getting angry at me or judging me harshly for a variety of reasons. All of that is to be expected. You can't experience true happiness without a radical shift in your perceptions about yourself, other people, the world, and the beliefs, ideas, and strategies you relied on previously. Thus, as we both know, radical shifts can appear extremely challenging. No matter how far out there what I'm sharing might seem at first, and it might not depending on your background, the journey we're going to take together and the ultimate destination you'll reach after taking it are very real, and you can get there from here. I have a confession to make before we continue our journey together. When I was first beginning to see and experience what I'm sharing here, I noted that I was seeing and experiencing was diametrically opposed to what all experts were saying about emotions and happiness. That seemed very strange to me, especially because many of the experts had such extraordinary credentials. Two questions haunted me at the time. How and why could I be that I'm seeing and experiencing something no one else seems to see or experience? How could I possibly be such a lone voice in the wilderness and be correct? As a result, there were many moments when I wondered if I was going crazy, but I simply couldn't deny what I was seeing and experiencing. It was so clear. It felt so right. As time passed, I watched what I was seeing and experiencing deepen and come more and more into focus, like a focus in a camera, until a blurry image becomes sharp and clear. When I later began to see that other people were having the same true happiness experience I had, after discovering what you'll discover in this book, my doubts and fears dissolved, and I simply rested in what I knew to be true. Next, throughout these pages, as you've already seen, you'll see me capitalize, bold, and sometimes underline the first letters of words. I do that to highlight the gigantic difference between the truth and the lies, illusions, stories, and myths we have accepted as true even though they are not. If you've read any of my other books, or if you've read a lot of non-fiction books in general, you'll notice that this book is much shorter than the typical non-fiction book you see on the shelves. The reason for that is simple. A book should only contain enough words and pages to get the job done. No fluff, filler, or strange detail. Fewer words were required to get this job done. Finally, in writing this book, all that mattered to me was helping you discover and actually experience true happiness all the time, no matter what's going on around you. I therefore allowed my inner renegade to express itself, and you'll see me break many rules relating to writing, grammar, structure, and style. You'll see that my writing style is very conversational. I hope you actually feel like you're having a private one-on-one conversation, just the two of us. This book is about you experiencing true happiness all the time, no matter what's going on around you. It's not about rules, formulas, grammar, or paragraph or sentence structure. Finally, I want to repeat two things before we continue. First, nothing in this book is theory. Second, I really mean experiencing true happiness all the time, no matter what's going around you. I have experienced and continue to experience everything I discuss here, everything. To give you your extreme examples, I could share hundreds of others. I've consistently experienced true happiness as it is, will be defined here even during a two-year bout with Murphy's Law, where just about everything that could go wrong did go wrong in all aspects of my life. The only exception being my relationship with my kids. A financial crisis during which cash flow dried up, expenses skyrocketed. I wasn't able to pay my bills, pile up hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, and didn't know if I'll be able to turn things around or have to go bankrupt, with a wife and two kids to support. A complicated separation and ultimate divorce from my wife. Cataract surgery on my left eye, where the surgeon made a mistake, damaged my cornea, and left me blurred spot in my field of vision that couldn't be corrected. My life was always been a laboratory from which springs everything I teach, share, and coach. I'm certain that the Murphy's Law of financial marriage and I dynamics manifested when they did and how they did, so I could verify the truth of what I'm sharing here for myself. I also believe that's why the Murphy's Law and financial crises ultimately resolve themselves quickly and easy once they've served their purpose. Thousands of other people worldwide are also experiencing consistent true happiness after discovering that you're about to discover here. What you're about to discover here, even while having experiences you might call bad, awful, terrible, disastrous, tragic, bad luck, Murphy's Law, failure, etc. Key point: everything I share in this book is real, possible, and doable, including by you. If you are reading to rock and roll, discover secrets about happiness you've never heard before, have your mind literally blown, and live through gateway into a consistent experience of true happiness, turn the page to begin your journey.